dads. And
Mm.
it was crazy because they wouldn't let me smoke cigarettes. I mean, they literally was like, "No, you don't supposed to be in here. You know, ain't nobody about to punk you. Ain't nobody about." I mean, I literally became maybe a little worse because I knew I was like really well protected. At one point, Sally Jesse Raphael wanted me to go on her show because I was a teen in prison.
Right.
And the inmates on the yard, nope. They said, nope, we're not going to do it. We're not going to allow you to do it. So they protested pretty much against it. And I didn't end up doing it because they said that it would probably ruin any chance of my future. With you
Mm.
exposing yourself. Now everyone knows, the world knows that you were the kid on TV, and so it would just it wasn't a good thing. So they stopped it. But nope, I went through prison and I learned how to become a better criminal. And I got out, and guess what? I went back, got out, went back, and then I'd start after the third time of state prison, I started to change. And I got a good job, and I started to realize I went from a job to owning my own detail shop. And I started, yeah, I can do some stuff. I can do a whole lot more than what I thought I could do. But see, my problem was when things got hard, you normally go back to the things that you're used to.
Right.
And hey, I knew I could sell dope. When the money got low, I'm like, man, I can go pick up a pack. I got homies. I can go pretty much anywhere, and latch on to something that'll put me back on my feet. But you know, that was my mistake, and I did that on my last state number, and instead of going back to state prison, it sent me to federal prison. And that was it. You hit you now they taking you 100% away from everything again, but now you can't even get visitors because they're taking you out of the state. And I went on that roller coaster ride for 5 years, and just towards the end of that, what more to lock in the deal of sealing in the deal of you not returning than to witness somebody else lose everything. You know what I'm saying? And I got it's crazy. And I know you've heard the story, but the viewers who are probably watching don't know the story. So I'm a tell it, but it's crazy because you go from having the perfect situation being in jail, and everybody don't have this perfect situation. This guy had visitors coming to visit him. We were all from out of town. Our people that couldn't afford to be driving and getting hotels and just to come visit our ass. Who we couldn't even stay out of jail. You know what I'm saying? But this man had family writing letters. They was coming to visit him. These people were, I mean, the whole family sending him money. I hustled in jail. I braided hair. I wrote poems for people. You know, I even had a service where I would write letters for people who couldn't write, and I would read their return letter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But this man didn't have to do none of that. They even sent this man educational books. They was getting their family ready for the street. And he was in return giving us those books to educate ourselves. So this dude had it. And, one day this dude waiting on his visit, he didn't get the visit. And it wasn't like his family, because like I said, these people came to visit him. His family, he got visits all the time. Every visit session that we were given, he had a visit there. And we were all out of town. They were coming in from out of town. Well, he didn't get that visit, and he was worried a little bit, and he didn't hear from nobody for a couple days. And a couple days go by, big sis, and guess what? The guards come in the unit and they pull this man out. And they pull him out first, and then they come in and they roll his stuff up. And we like, man, what the hell happened to such and such? What happened? What happened? And for a minute they didn't tell us, but one of the guards who was cool with us, he used to come into the unit and get tatted up. he told us, he said, um he lost his whole family. They were coming to visit him, and they were all in some RV or some bus. It was a bunch of them, and uh, semi tractor trailer driver fell asleep behind the wheel of the car coming the opposite way. And I guess he was coming over to meet him, and they avoided it and went to swerve to avoid him the hit, and they went over the ravine, and it just flipped and killed everybody. And
Mm.
when I say it killed everybody, that was his support system. You know, his mom and dad was in it, his wife was in it, his sister. You know, it was a lot of different people in this vehicle, and it was the people who was making his life better in prison. And now this man got to deal with the loss of his family, and it was all because they was coming to visit him. That could have been anybody on the yard. That could have been any one of us. And we all sitting there like, dang, are you serious? And they said they had to lock him up, man, to protect himself. So we never seen him again. But that got me to thinking, and I had his book that he had let me get, a book called Think and Grow Rich. I said, sis, I got to do something. I can't come back. And that just sealed the deal for me. So when I got out on the street, I got into school. I found somebody that was good for me, and I put on my faithful pants, and I said, man, I'm just gonna ride it out and get me a good job and go to school. And I did that. I went to school, but I kept reading Think and Grow Rich. I kept reading the book, and it turned into an Audible, and I started listening to the Audible while I worked, and I just read over and over and over again. And eventually it started giving me the courage to start another business again, or, you know, and it also made me, instead of showing up to work and working from that paycheck, I showed up to work and I like worked for like 3, 4 people. You know, I literally like say I ain't doing this for them. I'm doing this for me because I want to train myself to, uh, no matter what, go hard every time. And it,
I feel like there should be a lyric. Go hard, go. Oh wait, it is.
go
Starting
hard.
part of your.
And that's why I put that, and that's why that went in there, because
Yeah.
it's important when you want something and you really want it. Guess how many people want that? You know,
Yeah.
you ain't the only one want it. You know, everybody want it, and everybody can't have it. So there's specific guidelines that you have to reach in order to do it. And sometimes in order to reach those guidelines, you got to go hard. And that's why when I want something bad enough, you'll know, because I'm gonna get it, and that's because I went hard. Like Africa, you know, a lot of people don't realize, man. Yeah, okay, I went to Africa, but you know that cost some bread. That
Hmm.
cost some loot to pull off, and I was given the opportunity just 3 months before we had to go. And in order to make that, I had to first work on a speech that wasn't going to embarrass me all the way on the other side of the world. And I had to come up with the Lucci. I had to come up with the money. So I went hard. I
Yeah.
went hard, DoorDash, whatever it takes. And I own my own business. So, you know, I went
Yeah.
hard. And that's what it's going to take for anybody out there to get what they want. You know, you
Well,
got
what
to.
I was referencing for those that don't know is that he's a rapper also, and he has songs, and one of the songs he says "Go hard" in the lyrics. So that's where that came from. Um, so because we're here to motivate people, if someone's coming out of a dark place, whether that be you're coming out of prison, you're trying to figure out what does the rest of your life look like, you're coming out of divorce and you've lost everything, you're coming out of losing people in your family, whatever your dark place looks like, what's the first step?
Well, the first step is understanding you got to figure out what you want. What do you want? I mean, if you don't know what you want, there's no destination. So you're all over the place. So you got to figure out what do you want? Where do you want to end up? And the easiest way, and you, like I said, you've heard this before, the easiest way to get, once you figure out what you want, the easiest way to get that is to put yourself in the version of the person you are who's already got it. And
Yeah.
that's your future self.
Yeah.
That's that future person. So talk to that person. I mean, literally get into a relationship. I don't give a damn if you seem crazy to people. That person exists if you want that person to exist. And if you get into a relationship, I'm in a relationship with my millionaire self every day. I be talking to him like, dude, I mean, I'm sorry, dog. I spent some money this weekend. I probably shouldn't have did it, man. But what do I need to do to make it back up? What do I mean, I literally asked my future self a lot of stuff. And I've been able to get into a good enough relationship to understand what he wants. And am I perfect? No, hell no. I mean, we got life hitting us every day. So sometimes, you don't listen to them, and I realize when I don't listen to them, I don't get far enough where I want to go. So, but once I start listening to them again, I'm right back on focus. So,
Yeah.
get into a relationship with your future self.
Well,
And
and I
once
think
you,
first you also have to decide you're worthy.
yeah,
Because I think when you, especially people who've been in prison that I've heard, I've heard a lot of you guys speak on the stage, and one of the things is you had to realize you were worthy. You had to believe you were worthy before you could
yeah,
take the first step into creating that future self.
yeah,
So
and believe,
start there, and then go from there. And I've heard you talk so many times, but I know one thing you always talk about are the books that you read, and I know you read a lot of books still to this
yeah,
day. So give people a couple of books that you would say are, whether it's Audible or I'm at the point where I'm trying to make myself actually read. I've done Audibles for years, and I'm
hmm,
trying to make myself, because I'm not good at being still and being
yeah.
quiet and being in the moment, to where I'm making myself actually read. But what are the top three books you would tell someone to read if
Ooh.
they're going to start off a new journey?
So, number one book, I mean, I don't care if you're a believer or not. It doesn't matter if you're a believer. It's people that aren't believers on this planet that still read this book to this day because there's so much you can gain out of the book, and that's the Bible. That's, I mean, that's the number one book. You read the Bible. You don't have to memorize it. I'm just saying, just read it because it's going to influence you the longer you read it. The number two book is one of my favorite books, and it's helped me create the life that I'm creating for myself. And did you understand what I said? The life that I'm creating for
Yep.
myself, and that's Think and Grow Rich, by Napoleon Hill. Boring book if you don't want to change. But if you really want to change, you're going to continue to focus in on what you're reading until you start understanding that there's some decoding that you might have to do. Everyone approaches things differently and they depict things differently. So we have to decode what we read sometimes. And it's a book that's really worth decoding. And my third book, I'm just going to say this because it is a, whew, if you want to not just know yourself, but if you want to know the people who you encounter every day on an everyday basis, whether it's people that you encounter on a daily basis or if it's people that's just in and out of your life like a season, this book will help give you a better understanding. And that's by a book by Robert Greene called The Laws of Human Nature. And reason why I'm gonna summarize it is because this book, the way it describes our human nature is something we can't help. We can't change it. And this man is giving you the understanding of how it works. And it blew me away. So those are my three top, but I am gonna hit you and slap you with a fourth one just for the road, and it
Bring it.
doesn't even have to be a quick one. And I would advise reading this on YouTube. YouTube has a Audible that I would just don't even read it, just listen to it, and it's by Napoleon Hill. It's another one of his books, and it is called Outwitting the Devil.
Ooh,
Oh,
okay.
this is so powerful. Just listening to how this man tricked the devil into an interview where the devil had to tell the truth on every question that was asked. And the way these, because he had to have help with the construction of this book, the way they or it had some research that went into it, man, because trust me, it's, listen to that, and it'll definitely give you a totally clear understanding of what you're doing in your life that may be holding you back, or maybe withholding you from your blessings. So
Okay, so there's one story that you tell, and I've heard it 1,000 times, but the meaning behind it is so important that I want you to tell it because it's so simple when you once you bring it all back around to where you hear the end of the story. It's so simple and how easily we can all make a difference. So will you tell a story about the monkey hat?
yeah, man, I
I cry every time you tell this story, and I like I said, I've heard it I don't know how many times.
you
But
know it's been healing the more I tell it, because you remember in the beginning, I used to get pretty worked up
mhm.
and pretty teared up, but now since it's out there and it's become like a kind of like a small hit record, it's been easier for me to tell it. But like you said, it's a testament to the power of words, the power of just taking a small moment out of your day to share a few words with somebody that you don't know and you might not ever see again in your life. But one day, and this was back in 2017 when I worked for the company that I used to work for before I started my business. And I was out working in between Mission Road and no, Mission and Row. And it was a bridge that was a two-lane bridge that I guess it helped the people in Mission Farms apartments or lofts or whatever they are over there. It helped give them access to Row, to Quick Trip, and all of the accommodations that they were building over in that area. And this bridge only had one sidewalk that went across, and above those sidewalks they had to light the path, and they used pole lights to do it. And these poles were pretty tall, 17, 18 feet tall. So they called my company that I worked for at that time to come out and to make those repairs on all the lights that were out on the property. And on this particular cold winter day, one pole light was out on that bridge, and I had to kind of block off the street in order to make the repairs on it. So I put my cones out and had to pop the curb to kind of like allow some extra space for cars to come and wait for another car, to take their turns going around. But I didn't want to deter traffic, so I boomed up and started working on a pole. And like I said, it was cold out, so you got to protect yourself when you're working in a bucket truck. And instead of having a work hat on, you know I just, my personality wanted to make people smile. So I would do things to make people smile without even saying nothing. So I wore this sock monkey hat, and I love wearing these sock monkey hats that I had. I had several of them, but on this particular day, I had this particular one on, and I still got it to this day. But it just, like I said, it makes it easier for people to look, never even see them. So I'm up working on this pole, and I got this hat on, and it's in the middle of December, and it's, like I said, it's cold out, but the sun is shining. Big sis, Kansas. It's
Mhm.
crazy, ain't it? It's cold as heck out. You look out your window, the sun's shining. You almost run out the house without grabbing a jacket because it looks nice out. Well, I'm out working in this cold sunshine, and it always happens this way. Soon as you get yourself set, and soon as you get to working and booming up and working on something, somebody comes across your path that needs to get by. And it was a Caucasian male that was coming from uh, Row. I don't know if it was the little business park center they had over there. I really don't know. Only thing I know is this guy is coming my way, and I'm like, man, I gotta hurry up now. So the guy he walks about halfway over the bridge, and instead of walking up underneath my truck and passing me, he stops halfway over the bridge, don't even look at me. He just looks out over the water, and he just stands there with his hands in his pocket looking out over the water. And me, hey man, people don't want to walk under stuff and take the chance of you dropping something on them. So me, I'm thinking he waiting on me. And I'm working trying to hurry up and get stuff done. I don't have my gloves on now because it's hard to work with screws when it's cold out and you got gloves on. So I have to take the gloves off. So now my hands are getting numb. So now I can't hardly hold on to the screws. And instead of speeding things up, I'm kind of slowing down a little bit. And I know I can't, get this job done as fast as I would like to have got it done. So I just, man, I felt the urge to say something to the dude. And I just remember just being me, screaming out down to him below saying, hey, man, it's cold as heck out here, man. But guess what? The sun is shining, you know? Beautiful time it is to be alive. What a beautiful time it is to be alive. Simple words. And you know what I got for saying those simple words? I got the craziest, meanest look. The man finally turned around and looked up at me. And he just gave me this crazy look and turned around and walked back the other way. Didn't even cross underneath me. And hey, I finished the job and finished the rest of the pole lights on the property, and I got up out of there. A year later, I'm working my own company now, and I'm in my own bucket truck. And I remember having a harness on, walking into this Quick Trip right off of 87th and Farley, right across the street from where I voted today.
Me too.
Yep. And I was literally in one side of Quick Trip, going through the line to get my order taken, to pay for my food, and right on the other side of the counter is a Caucasian dude staring at me. And I didn't know if it was because I had that same sock monkey hat on again, and he was just staring at that hat, or if he was a property manager that worked at one of my properties that I did, or in the past when I worked for the other company. But after that dude got his order taken, and he got his order taken before mine, he approached me. And as he was coming, sis, I just figured, I said that this dude is one of the property managers from who I used to work with. And I just wrote it off as that. And the dude walked up to me and he was like, you work in a bucket truck, don't you? And I say, yep, this is one of those property manager dudes. And I say, yeah, man, I work in a bucket truck. Yep. And he's like, man, can I hug you? And I was like, what the hell? I mean, okay, bring it in. I mean,
You're a hugger.
yeah. I mean, I wasn't really that much of a hugger then, but still at the same time, I didn't know where this was going. When he asked me if I worked in a bucket truck, it had to me, I'm still thinking it had to do something with work. And I'm thinking maybe I saved it, I got his lights working. I mean, I don't know what I was thinking at that moment. I just knew that I was accepting or whatever he was needing out of this hug, because I just figured it was related to work. And
Yeah.
that dude did not hug me. Nope. It wasn't a hug. It was not a hug, it was an embrace. This dude was bear hugging me for a minute. This dude could have picked me up and took me up out the store. And, I stood there like, whoa, what the hell? And he whispered in my ear and he said, thank you. Thank you for saving my life. And he stepped back and let me go and stepped back and looked down at me because he was taller than me. And it it hit me. I was like, this was the dude that was on the bridge. He was gonna jump. he was going to kill himself. And because of the words that I said, sis, he didn't jump. And he was standing there in front of me. And the man was thanking me because the words that I said that day, when he really needed the words, it stopped him from doing something and changed his whole direction. And that's the point I want to make out of that story. Even when we going through things in our life, now, even when things ain't working out for us and we out there in public and we out there moving through traffic, you know, we can lash out at people because of the things that we going through. Or, and before I say the or, you can lash out like the villain would do. And remember, the villain is only a villain because someone hurt him. And because someone hurt him, he decides now everyone's going to get hurt. Because I was hurt, everyone's going to get hurt. Or you can choose to travel through your day going through whatever you're going through. And because you don't want anyone else to go through what you're going through, you can be the hero. And you can say, I'm going to try to make somebody else's day a little better than mine. And it's not so easy to do that all the time. But the words that you speak, they have so much power that if you don't use the words wisely, you can easily hinder somebody or hurt them. But in this day, I was able to change someone's whole world, you know. And it's a good feeling, not just being able to tell the story. It's a good feeling knowing that dude that I never seen after that. I don't know this dude's name. I don't know nothing. Only thing I know is that man is somewhere alive, and he's alive because of something I said. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's powerful.
And even on our worst days, it's still a beautiful day to be alive.
It is. You know, in the beginning of my book, I have a section called The Lottery. And it basically explains how, you know, we have a mom and a dad who had a mom and a dad who had two, and each one of us have two sets of parents. We have two sets of grandparents, and then two sets of great grandparents. I mean, four sets of great grandparents. And it just, all of these people had to go through swimming through all of that to get to that cervix. Had to I mean, just think, all of those sperm cells, all of those that had to get to that egg to be germinated for that
Mhm.
relative, just that relative, to be
Yeah.
born, to match up with another relative. I mean, so much went in to you being here.
Yep.
You are a miracle. Each and every one of us are miracles. I mean, there's nothing, if you look at it like that, you wouldn't be running around trying to get that winning lottery ticket every day, spending all your money on that lottery, that chance at winning the lottery, because you are the lottery. You literally won when you came through your mom's private area and and was birthed into this world. You won. You
Yeah.
But the big thing is, what do we do with the ticket? How are we spending the ticket?
Yeah.
And
What are we giving
that's
back? And that's for me. It's like, um, I think the older I get, the more I think about my legacy, right? And I was at a funeral not that long ago of a 30-year-old, and it was just standing room only. And I just kept thinking, what's the legacy that I'm leaving behind? I
yeah,
buried my sister last year at 50, 54, I think, and my brother at 18. And what's our legacy? Not everybody gets it. Everyone's always like, why do you celebrate your birthday so much? Why is it such a big deal?
yeah,
Because my brother only got 18, my mom only got 58, my sister got 53. I'm going to celebrate everyone
yeah.
because it's a big deal.
Well,
And
because you're here.
yeah,
This is it.
and no matter how many valleys I go through, I'm going to keep fighting because I have things to do here.
Yeah.
And so I just
But
want to
don't it
say to
get
you,
scary? Don't it get scary, sis? The older we get, and the older we get, we're getting closer to our exit date,
yeah,
and it gets a little scary. It gets like, man, will I be able to complete the right stuff before I go? And it can be overwhelming, but
yeah,
the for people that out there that get the death anxiety of getting old, just remember, no matter what, 1,000 years from now, no one will know who you are anyway. You know what I'm saying? So don't worry about who will know who you are. Know the moment. Live this moment. When I start realizing that, man, I can set myself up to go. I'll never be ready. No one's ever ready to go. You know what I'm saying? You
yeah,
think you're ready to go, but there's always things that you left behind because of of things that you didn't go after. You know, but
yeah,
if you live in the moment, if you remember that right now, the things that are going on right now, the things that you're able to overcome right now, if you remember those things and it comes to your exact now moment, man, live. And people are down you all the time about living. And it's like, don't be mad. Don't down me for what I'm doing, how I'm living. You know, you take what you can take from what I'm doing and do you. But let me live. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And the best way I found out how to live is by helping other people, and that doesn't mean financially. A lot of people think it's financial. It ain't financially. Sometimes
Mhm.
just being able to help me through a decision that I almost made. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That decision, like I was about to bust this dude head open, and you came through. Izzy did that one day. I'm serious, man. Izzy, she took Mr. Positive, and she reminded him, "Hey, calm down.
Yep.
Will this matter to you in the next 20, 30 minutes? No, it won't. Well, don't let it matter to you now." And boom,
Yep.
I was right back on. So, but man,
Well, I just want to tell you, in the 3 years I've known you, we've shared stages, we've traveled together, we co-wrote a book. Um, Watching you grow from, like I said, the dude lost in the coffee shop to now, I just want you to know I'm really proud of you. And you've stayed true to yourself, and you've stayed authentic through the whole process. You are the same Chuck, whether you're coffee cup Chuck, whether you're C3, whether you're Chuck Doyle, you're always the same person. And so just keep doing that. And I know that you have touched a lot of lives, and I know that you've made a difference for a lot of people. So don't lose focus. I think you told me that not too long ago, and I did. So don't lose focus, and keep reaching for your goals. Make your dreams come true.
I got you on that, sis. I got you.
Yeah,
But I want you to do the same because guess what? No matter what we're doing out here, people watching us.
yeah,
And we're either helping them by influencing them by doing the things that we're doing that are great, or we're hindering them by doing the things that they're watching us do that's not so great. So, and it gets hard. Like I said, man, last year, we I didn't
it
know
was
if I
rough.
wanted to speak no more. I was like, man, it was almost over for me. But like I said, I had everybody around me, and I appreciate that. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
and I
Even Mr.
quit.
Positive.
I quit, but I'm back. So get ready.
I don't think it was a quit. Sometimes we gotta step back, and we gotta analyze what's going on and what's important, and sometimes you can't do it when you're in the thick of things. You gotta step back and reevaluate who you are, reevaluate the environment you're in. Everything has to be looked at, and then you can go back into it and with a better understanding of why you're doing what you're doing and what you want to get out of it. So,
Yeah.
and no one's perfect, none of us. And guess what? That's what makes us the best we can be because we can continue to make flaws and learn and grow from the stuff. So I'm a pencil, you're a pencil, we're all pencils. We write our stories, for other people to read and watch, and they're watching. But guess what? When those mistakes are made in our lives, no matter who we are, we can always erase it and rewrite the story. So, and Terrence the Unstoppable Lethbridge, taught us both that, you know.
Yep.
But
Yeah, we are very blessed to be surrounded with the people we are surrounded by, and I am blessed to have you as my brother and my friend. So thank you for being on my podcast,
yes,
and I will see you around soon.
stay positive.
Stay positive, people.
Bye, sis.
Bye.